everybody, welcome to Divine Destiny Therapy. Now, this is an amazing session that I created that's going to help you release the mind. And so, when I think about this Divine Destiny Therapy, I want to first tell you how it came to be. Now, I remember a long time ago when I came up with this process and I was thinking of it and I was doing all these little things and it just was helping me out and I was just loving it. And I just remember it didn't really become real till I met this one guy. And he was like a really good friend of mine. I just remember we were sitting there talking, you know what I mean, not to expose him too much, but I remember he was there when something super traumatic happened, like super traumatic. And I just remember it was way too hard for me to just be able to, talk. I was like, man, you kind of need therapy for this, you know what I mean? So I actually was like, you know what, go ahead, why don't you try the process that I did? So then I took him through this process, which I'm trying to show you guys, and he was like, wow, you know. And I just remember him telling me that this helped him out so much with this severe situation than any other therapy session that he ever had. So I was like, maybe I have something there. So then I was thinking about doing it as an individual case, like telling it like this, but it's all one process, so I can get out to way more people if I do it this way. So I'm here, super excited. Here goes Divine Destiny Therapy. So first what you want to do is you want to sit, find somewhere real nice, take the video, pause it, do whatever you need to do, and just go somewhere real nice and just sit. And then take the 3 deepest breaths you've ever taken. So you can do it with me. And now that you've done that and you've taken the 3 deepest breaths, what you want to do first is you want to think about exactly why you came here and why you're doing this. Because there's a bad subject and you're like, hey, let me try this out. So there's something severe that you're dealing with. And then once you're done, thinking about that, I want you to then start to address it. Like, what do I fear about this situation? So be like, oh, I fear this, I fear that, I fear this, I fear that. And just think about it for a while. Then you can pause it right now if you haven't got all the things you thought about when it comes to all the things you fear with this. And what you want to do after that is you want to take out a piece of paper and you want to write down all the opposites. So if you fear this, be like, I don't fear this, I don't fear this, I don't fear this. And just instill it in your brain and just keep telling yourself that, and just ask yourself too, can you be brave when it comes to that situation so that you can bridge the gap to that situation? Like, can I be brave? It's like, you know what, yeah, I can be brave, I can be brave. I can be brave when it comes to that. And then what you want to do after that is now you want to ask yourself, and really be genuine with these questions. Just really ask yourself, like, man, what do I blame myself for when it comes to this situation? Just be like, man, I blame myself for this, I blame myself for that, and blah, 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 blah. And just, think about it. Take some time. Then right now, pause it if you haven't got all the things that you can blame yourself for. But then after that, just think about it. Well, you know what? Instead of blaming myself, you want to forgive yourself. So say, I forgive myself for this. Or you want to do the opposite. Say, I forgive myself for that. I forgive myself for this. And just really take it on, you know what I mean? And to really, forgive yourself because nobody's perfect. And that'll help you bridge that gap so that you can maintain your balance in life in this situation when it comes to that. Then once you're done with that, and then you want to think about, man, what are all the things that I've been ashamed about? Just be like, man, I'm ashamed of this, I'm ashamed of this, and I'm ashamed of that. And just take some time, just think about it. And now you can pause the video if you want. If not, keep going, and because you've thought about all the things that you're ashamed about, then you want to go ahead and you want to write down all the things, the opposite will be like, you know what, this is who I am. So yeah, I'm ashamed of this. So, you know what I mean? I don't do this. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't do that. You know what I mean? Because you're ashamed of that. So and then you want to actually accept who you are right now so that you can move forward to become these things that you're saying, so that you could take that step and that action. Okay, well, if I need to look up something or do something to become this, and now you can start to become this. You want to tell yourself this subconsciously so your vibrations can get higher and higher so that now you can attract these things. And then once you're done with that and you realize, who you are and what you need to do, you know what I mean? Think about all the things that you lost about this situation. Like, man, I lost this, I lost that, I lost this, I lost that. And just start thinking about it. Then once you're done with that, you can pause it now. If so, just understand that even though that you've had all these losses, there's always been some type of gain through knowledge or something else that you will receive. You know what I mean, in life. And sometimes losses happen to save you too. You know what I mean? So there's always something that happened, you know what I mean, that you actually end up gaining. So you want to think of a loss as a gain. Like, oh, I gained this, I gained this, I gained this, even though it was bad, you know what I mean? What you want to do is start thinking of the gain so that you can bridge the opposite of that, so now you can have balance. And then after you're done with that, you want to start to think about, man, what lies did I tell myself, man? I was telling this and that and this and that, and just start thinking of all the lies. And once you're done with that and you thought about all the lies that you've been telling yourself and all these things, just understand the truths now and write those down. Like, oh man, this is the truth. This is the truth about this. This is the truth about this. This is the truth about that. And just remember, even if you don't have a pen and you can't write all these things down, just remember it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you might just get that one good truth, that one good, you know what I mean, positive thing, or that one thing that's really holding you back in fear, so that now you can just say the opposite of it. Just, remember it. Because those are things that you're going to need to use after you're done with this process. Because once you do it this time, you're going to be feeling good, but it's for the later on. You know what I mean? So just remember to tell yourself the truths about the situation. Then after you're done with that, you want to think about what illusions did I create, and you want to think of, what are these imaginary things that I created about this situation. You know what I mean? And once you're done thinking about that, this is where you could pause it. You know what I mean? If you couldn't think of it, in time, just pause it. Take your time. Because this is for you. You know what I mean? Just chill out. Think of all the illusions, and then once you think of that, just think of the opposite, which is the reality. So this is the reality of the situation. This is the reality of the situation. This is the reality of the situation. This is the reality. You can even write that down. This is the reality of that situation. You know what I mean? So then now you can use all the rest of the steps that were before to either go for this or let it go, because you know that you don't need it. You know what I mean? And once you're done with that, this is when the next step comes in. When you think about, man, what am I attached to this? Like, oh, I'm attached to this. I'm attached to that. I'm attached to this because of this. I'm attached to that. And so just take some time. You can get rid of all your attachments. And once you're done with that and you thought about, all your attachments to that situation, then you want to think of all these positive things and all these things that you wrote. And you want to remember to think of them, tell yourself these situations, tell them the positive things, so that when you're addressed with that situation, you know exactly what to do in the future, you know. And then the good thing about this is, about when you're letting go of the attachments, you'll know exactly in the future, what do you want, what can you get out of this, and all the rest of the stuff that goes with that. And then once you come to a conclusion, it's where you can pause it. Now you can feel free. You can understand, like, okay, these are the things that are holding me back. These are the things, that are no longer holding me back. You know what I mean? Depending on how your level is of the session and how powerful it was. That's why it's good to write this down, because then now you can use this for anything. So I'm just coming here with another. This is Divine Destiny Therapy session, and I'm proud and I'm so happy. And I just remember, the pleasure is always mine.